All right, yo, what's going on, guys? All right, man. Can I just say I genuinely love that I've started doing this like kind of thing where I just like talk to y'all because it gives me such like a good debrief moment from the day. You know what I mean? Like, typically, like say some like crazy. One sec. One sec. Typically, like if some crazy stuff goes on at work or like I'm just like stressed about the day, I just like go home. Don't talk about it, go to sleep, and then boom, that shit's gone. But now I get to just like put it out onto a platform, and it's nice. It's nice. But there were some topics that I wanted to hit, so here, let me go into training and just trying to like remember. I'll probably like cut this out just so I can, just for flow's sake. Some things that actually, let me talk about something that happened like quite literally just recently. Like I just got a ride from a buddy. You ever see a friend that you know for a fact is going through something? Like you know this individual, you talk to them probably every day, and you're like, all right, I know something's wrong with you. I know for a fact because I know you, and I know what you look like when you're upset. And then you go to ask them, and they're like, yeah, I'm fine. And it's like, first off, dude, no, you're not. I know that you're not. So instead, like, and I'm not implying that you need to tell me, right? Like, I'm not some narcissist that's like, oh yeah, you're going through something and I have the right to know what that is at this exact moment. However, don't sit there and say like, oh yeah, there's nothing going on right now. When it's like, just be like, no, not really, but I'm not trying to talk about it right now. I can respect that. And like, obviously I respected it even then. Like, I was like, all right, just know that like, I love you, dude. And if you want to talk, if it's with me, if it's with your situation, if it's what's going on, just let me know and I'm here for you. And that's what I think you should do for your friends. But I wish I could do more. I wish I could extract whatever it is that's bothering him and fix it so that we can get to the good times. But I know life doesn't work like that. Or sometimes you simply don't get to know the answer, as a friend told me. But again, that wasn't the point. I wanted to bring up my truck. So guys, I drive a 1998. I know, that must be a shock. I said 1998 Ford F-150, right? Now, that sucks. This was my buddy's truck, and I needed a car, and he so gratefully offered me the car for $800. Now, those of you that know anything about cars or just honestly just have some common sense, red flag should be blaring in your mind. Just like $800 for a truck. What the fuck's wrong with the truck, right? And I knew this. Like I'm not completely dumb, right? I was aware that there was gonna be some pretty stark things going on, and there was like some issues with like the lights. You had to like flicker them. She was quirky. She's a quirky girl. She's old. Old girls are quirky. I didn't know if you knew this. Pass. Take that shot, King! That was, oh my god, that would have been cool. But she's a quirky girl. She had a really big quirk that I was like, you know what, fuck it. $800, hee hee ha ha. That when I would go in reverse, the tires would get stuck and it would be very embarrassing just to simply come out of a parking spot, right? She did not like reverse. Remember, quirky girl. Alright, wait. Let me lock in. Oh god. Sorry about that, y'all. Sorry I didn't even see that. But she's a quirky girl. And whatever. I'm like, I can deal with that. It's not the worst thing in the world. I just gotta, treat her gentle. I found out that if I don't really, manipulate the steering wheel that much in reverse, it's not really an issue. So I get it. I was like, oh, I gotta treat you gentle. You're an older woman. I gotta treat you with respect and dignity. Whatever. This was nice. This was a warning of bigger issues. I don't know about cars. I didn't have the luxury of being taught. Maybe I should have done it myself, but I didn't have that. Some of you may already know this, but in this case, it was an indication that there was an issue with this front end suspension. Now, I didn't know to what degree, but I soon found out. So now, I don't know if y'all have ever been in a car incident, but I will tell you of mine. This is where her quirks became a little too quirky. I didn't know what was going on. God, it really is hard to talk and play. Like, I really hope that y'all respect the effort that's going into this. Or don't. But she got a little too quirky for my taste. You know what I mean? Nice, good job. We're going down the highway, and I'm taking an exit. It's bearing to the right, all right? Exit, bearing right. I'm listening to music at this point, fucking blasting it. I'm having the time of my life in that home. She then jerks hard as freak to the right, okay? Now, that was the scariest shit that's ever fucking Wait. I don't want to curse as much. I need to stop that. Like, what kind of example am I setting for my followers? Thank you. Very scary. Now, you know you are scared in a car when I then went from blasting my music and having a good time, you know, maybe like one hand on the wheel, to instantly, boom, turn the volume down all the way. No music in that motherfucker whatsoever. It was silent as a morgue in that car. And then 10 and 2. And I didn't say shit for the rest of that ride. It was 5 minutes. It was 5 minutes of complete silence. That's how scared I was. And I then immediately went to a mechanic. They knew before I even showed up, because they could hear me creaking down the goddamn road, right? Like, it was a bad situation. I knew this, and I knew it was going to be expensive. Dude, what is going on with these guys? They're being okay. But, this dude was like, yeah, I heard you creaking down the fucking road as I go in. And I'm like, yeah, I know. It was so bad that it was a very narrow parking spot, right? So, like, I drive into this place, and the parking spots are on the left, and the mechanic spot, like, where they do all the cars and fix them up, is on the right. I needed a reverse like this to go there. I knew that if I put this bitch in reverse, I'm going to make a fool out of myself, and I probably would get that car stuck. She'd been acting up really bad on the way to the mechanic. I don't even want to talk about that because of how scary it was. But I digress. I parked her right there in the middle, in between the mechanic's spots and the parking spots, and I was like, that's where she's going to go. And I was like, that's kind of your guys' problem now. He was like, all right, let me take a look at it. So I obviously no longer have a ride to get out of this mechanic, and I had to call a buddy. So as I'm waiting for a buddy, I'm sitting on my phone. I'm looking at Duolingo, you know, playing some Clash and whatnot. Oh! That changed the direction though. But so I'm trying to get out of the flipping mechanic. I'm sitting outside of the mechanic playing on my phone, like Clash Royale, Duolingo, all that jazz, right? I don't know if he's damn, he just got there. And I now see the mechanic coming out of the place to me, and he's like, bro, I don't know what God you pray to. I don't know if you have a guardian angel, but thank whoever that is for the fact that you're even alive now. He said that car could have flipped at any moment. That's how bad it was. I don't know any of the jargon for those of you that are like mechanics or whatnot. I have nothing for you. But pretty much the entire front end suspension was cooked. Nice, good save. Yeah, so like I said, pretty much the entire... Damn, that was a quick turn of direction. I'm just gonna say my fault. I don't even think it's my fault, but hey, sometimes it's good to just throw it out there, you know what I mean? But tire and front end suspension's fucked, and I already dropped $800 into this car. At this point, I probably, for the amount of money that I'm about to say, like, this is so stupid on my part, and you feel free to make fun of me. Okay, you got it, King. What you gotta do? Alright, I was expecting a little bit more. I dropped like 3,000 something into this freaking car to get the entire front end suspension fixed. And I probably got ripped off, you know, and it's dumb. Like, it's an old car. But I don't know, dude. I had this feeling, like, I love her, dude. I'm in love with this car. Her name's Priscilla. I named her. I can't just give up on her. So I'm gonna maintain her. I'm gonna take care of her. She's my little baby. And but yeah. So I immediately then called my buddy. I'm like, hey, you know you almost like got me fucking killed, right? And he obviously felt bad. I don't think he was aware of it. And I still love him. If you were listening to the moving story, it's the same guy. I still love the guy, right? I don't, so it's really hard for me to focus here. So I don't know if he's talking to me. But because he was driving that truck prior to me, and he didn't seem to think, like, he knew there was some issues, but not to that extent. So, ooh, not good. Damn, I feel bad. I'm sorry. I'll lock in. Teammate. But that's pretty much the end of that story, if I'm being real. She's now working completely fine. She's doing a great job. Very proud of Priscilla. I think I'm gonna show y'all a picture of her. I think, yeah, y'all, I'll throw in a picture maybe like now. Maybe not. Maybe editing Josh forgets about all of this and you guys are like, where's the fucking picture? Who knows? But speaking of the editing process, I think it's fun to like let y'all know like how this goes. I'm gonna drop it on him. Ah, that guy knew. I'm gonna grab this boost and then we're gonna deal with this. Thought he had a... Wow, holy. Sorry, did y'all feel it like ramp up for a second? Like, holy. Sorry, guys. But I don't know what I was saying before, but oh, the editing process. Yeah, the editing process is getting a lot more fun because like I don't really have to do a lot of it at all. I'm thinking... Yeah. I'll throw my bad. That's on me. But I'm thinking on days that I actually have off, I'd probably be more willing to put in a little bit more effort into the editing process, because then it wouldn't feel like a chore. It'd feel like more like a hobby. It'd feel fun, right? It's like something I do every once in a while. But to do it every time, that would be a bit much for me. You know what I mean? So like consider this like the usual, and then on days that I have off, maybe, you know, throw in like a little sweet treat. You know what I mean? But, oh, I thought we could add something there, but... Alright, yeah, this game is probably, most likely, over. Alright. What are we at? We're at 13 minutes. Honestly, we can keep it here. I finished my story. I got everything I needed off my chest. I have more stories. Like, I want to keep a couple, you know, like, in the chamber. Even though I do stuff all the time, so I'll always have stories. But I'd just be rambling at this point if I continued. So, like, we can end it, you know, short and sweet, 14 minutes. Thank you for watching up until this point. I hope you enjoyed my story. Have a great day. And I guess this final thing. If you're dealing with something and your friends are... Here, everyone, focus here. Get rid of the Rocket League editing, Josh. If you're feeling something and your friends notice, or your loved one, or your parents, or someone you care about, it means that whatever is affecting you is very evident and they care. They want to know. And I don't know if you've ever heard this cliche, but a shared sorrow is half a sorrow, a shared joy is a double joy. In this case, we're talking about the sorrow, obviously. Share it. It makes it better. And if it's not your friend, at least share it with somebody. To let that shit eat up inside you is how a lot of great people meet their end. I'm thinking of a person in particular. Share it. It's better for you and all the people involved, and your presence is wanted on this earth. So,
On that happy note,
have a good one, y'all. Bye-bye.